Hi guys, it's the Fibromyalgia Warrior here again. It is still Monday. This is the next video in my series, Fibromyalgia and My Story, because like most of you, or most of those that most of you who know somebody with fibromyalgia, they don't just have fibromyalgia. They have one other thing or multiple other conditions, which, just so you know, that is why it is so hard to diagnose and why it is, at least over here in England, it is considered to be a clinical diagnosis. So it's a diagnosis of elimination, um, because so many other conditions can occur at the same time, and it's sometimes really hard to know what symptoms are caused by what. But anyways, this particular little video is all about, today I'm going to talk about having what is Raynaud's syndrome, okay? And so far, I have covered the fact that on top of the fibromyalgia, I also have anxiety, quite serious anxiety, although I am working to try to manage it. I also have food addiction and disordered eating, which I am in recovery, but sometimes, you can backslide, if you will. You can fall off the recovery wagon, as it were. And yes, food can be an addiction to some of us, like alcohol, or drugs can be to someone else. Just want to get that out of the way. So, Raynaud's syndrome, what is it? Okay, here's my sort of short version, because the in-depth technical medical description is kind of like way over my head. And if you don't have it, to be honest, it'll probably bore you and it'll get lost in the translation. So there's two types of Raynaud's. There is primary, where it isn't triggered by something else, and that's the more serious kind. And there's the kind that I have, which is secondary, meaning something else is triggering my symptoms. Okay. And it is considered by some to be an autoimmune condition, which, again, if you think about fibromyalgia, the fact that I also have IBS, the fact that I have gut health issues like a lot of you do, and food intolerances and all this other stuff, it all kind of adds up, right? Basically, if you didn't know, basically what happens is your brain sends signals to the blood vessels and arteries and so forth in your body to either open to allow more blood flow or to close to reduce it. And usually when it happens, it's because, for example, if it's really cold out, your brain will try to send signals to open up your blood flow so that you have more blood circulating, and therefore your hands and feet will warm up. Okay. Or if it's too hot and your hands and feet get swollen, your brain would normally signal to reduce the amount of blood flow. So therefore, the swelling goes down. With Raynaud's, it happens opposite to when it should. So, like for me, when my hands get swollen, okay, so how do I describe this? So what it means, okay, so right now you can see me and I'm wearing compression gloves. Now it's for a few reasons, one of which is because I do have arthritis in the joints of my hands, and this helps keep my joints warm, helps reduce some of the inflammation and swelling from the arthritis. But what it also does is it helps just the overall circulation and blood flow to my fingertips, which means that it will hopefully keep my fingertips from going purple. So with Raynaud's, when your extremities get too cold, so some people get it in their nose, the tips of their ears occasionally, and in their face, but mostly you see it in the hands and feet, like specifically in the toes and fingers. And what'll happen is something will trigger it, to reduce the flow of blood, and that'll make your toes get really cold. And they usually then go from like a fleshy pinky color to white, and then like blue or even purple. And I had this start happening back in 2015. My toes were purple, and I thought, this is not normal. Okay. Um, and so even if the room temperature is 18 degrees or above, I can still, okay, let me say that again. Sorry. If the room temperature is above 18 and below 25, my toes, like they are right this minute, feel freezing cold. Okay. Even though the weather isn't freezing cold because I'm inside and it's at a acceptable temperature where it's at about 19 degrees in the living room right now. But because I have Raynaud's, the signals in my brain tell my vessels to close when they should open and to open when they should close. So I could be sitting outside on a nice sunny day, and it could be 35 degrees out, but even if I'm in the shade, or not 35, what am I saying? It never gets that hot here in England. It could be 30 degrees, and I could be sitting in the shade, but my feet, which, because I drink a lot of water, should help keep any sort of swelling down. My feet in the summer are so swollen and feel so hot that I actually have to run cold water over my feet in the bathtub in the evenings just to be able to sleep at night, for example. But in my case, it could be 24 degrees on a hot summer's day, but and you know, I could be outside wearing shorts and a t-shirt, but I would still feel the need to put on socks and shoes because my toes would still feel cold. Even if they aren't like white or turning purple, I would still have cold hands and cold feet. Now, interestingly enough, I've always had cold hands and cold feet ever since I was a kid. You know, my mom used to say, cold hands, warm heart. And I think that's probably very true. Didn't know until 2015 it's because I had Raynaud's. Now, I've been told by the specialist it could be just anxiety that can trigger it. Could be the fibromyalgia pain flaring up that can trigger it. Could be IBS flaring up that could trigger it. And of course, temperature changes that can trigger it. And there isn't any cure for it. You know, it's just wear socks, wear slippers, dress warm, drink water, try to keep your fluids going, stay hydrated, all that kind of good stuff, right? So the one thing I have come to learn is that both, so fibromyalgia, by the way, as well as Raynaud's, or even just, cold hands or feet, just some circulation issues, may not even be full-blown Raynaud's, but those are also key symptoms of hypothyroidism. So even though that was only confirmed to me in March, which that's going to be a separate video, so all of these things can actually, they relate to each other, right? Yeah, so it can be frustrating. It's an annoyance more than anything, just because my core body temperature might be fine, and right now between my neck and my ankles, I'm nice and toasty, but my feet feel like they're turning into popsicles. So it doesn't generally cause any pain, and for me, like, you can't tell it here, but my fingertips are cold. They're kind of whitish, so that's the Raynaud's kicking in. But some compression gloves might help, just if you have it and you're not sure what to do about it. I will say to you what was said to me, which is, you may have to invest in a really good pair of slippers, or like, those squishy sort of house, like Ugg boots knockoffs. They don't have to be the boots. They can just be like the boot shaped slippers, and some nice fuzzy socks to go with them. And you may have to do a little bit of adjusting. So your core body temperature might be nice and warm and your extremities are cold. So you might feel like your body's sweating while you try to get your feet and your hands up to a manageable temperature. Or you may find that if your hands and feet feel swollen, you may find you have to strip layers off to cool down to get everything back to where it's comfortable. But if you have Raynaud's and fibromyalgia, just know that they are two separate things. So like if your toes and fingers are turning white and then bluey purple, that isn't fibromyalgia. Just so you know. Get a referral, ask to see a vascular specialist, because chances are it could be Raynaud's, and that's treated separately. It's treated differently. Okay. Anyways, guys, yeah, I hope this is helpful somehow. There's some really awesome, loads and loads of awesome compression gloves on Amazon that will probably help with relieving some of the well, if you have Raynaud's and arthritis, like I do, or Raynaud's and whatever, I find that it does help keep the circulation going, so that even if it's 19 degrees in the room and your fingers start turning blue, you can get them warmed up quickly. You don't have to, layer up like you're going on a winter mission. Yeah, I guess that's right. Like you're heading off to the North Pole, right? So anyways, I hope it helps. If you liked it, please, it'd be great if you gave me a like, a thumbs up, all that sort of thing. And I really hope that you guys will subscribe and join our little community. And who knows, maybe we can help each other share our stories and how we can cope with not just the fibromyalgia, but any other coexisting conditions. Because, like I said, I have had the issue of cold hands and feet as far back as I can remember, which is like at age 8 or 9, I don't know if kids are diagnosed with it at that age, but I have absolutely had it since then. It has gotten worse since the fibromyalgia was triggered, like massively triggered 6 years ago. So whether it's a causation or it's just an unfortunate coincidence, I don't know. But hey, if you have it or you know someone who does, you're not alone. And I don't know, hopefully this video is uplifting. And yeah, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.